What's happening, guys? Mike Moo here. So I wanted to give you guys a comparison, first a really close look at the keyboard itself and impressions of it, as you might have seen my unboxing, but I didn't really go into detail since I was unboxing. So over here there's this little LED light that actually turns red when you have it plugged in and charging. And the charging port's over here on the side. It's just basically a micro USB port. It actually charges fairly quickly, but that's probably because the batteries in here are not that large. It really doesn't take too much to charge them. On top of that, the batteries don't last as long as some of the competitors, such as Logitech keyboards. They designed for the iPad, which have 2 years of battery life based on 2 hours of use a day. I don't know if I consider that regular use or not. I guess it all depends if you write a lot or type a lot or email a lot. So that all depends on you. What I do like about this is I like the color. The color is fantastic. I mean, this is the red version, of course. Sorry, I have to adjust the exposure and turn down the birds. The birds are kind of loud. Okay, so other thing I like about this is, besides the red color, is this is kind of chiclet style. What a lot of people don't notice, but I notice these little details, because these little details bug me, is that, check out the gaps in between the keys. You're probably not going to notice on day-to-day typing or anything, but they're actually quite sharp right here. This is really sharp. This is sharp enough to cut my finger. If I, for whatever reason, if I have some sort of nasty habit when I'm typing, I like to, if I move my fingers around a lot here. Now that might not affect most of you, but it might affect some of you. Like you might wonder, hey, how come my fingernails that are finely manicured? If you're a lady or if you're a guy, I'm not going to judge, but if you have finely manicured fingernails and you get them, you get your nails done or whatever, and you just kind of drag them along that, you're gonna cut up, you're gonna mess up your fingernails. So yeah, keep that in mind. I don't know many people that in a work environment continue to sport long fingernails, but if you do and you happen to drag along the top while you're typing, that's going to be an issue for you. Okay, I haven't tested any other keyboard where it was that sharp, and that is something to keep in mind. I wish that they refined that better, but this is really sharp, guys. This is enough to rub off the front part of my fingers. So that's something that you should know. I don't think anybody's ever mentioned that before. I'm not even sure if Adonit gets any complaints about that, but that's one small thing. Another thing is really the quality of the keys is all right. It's not super awesome. I really like my Apple keyboard better. I mean, when I thought about this, I thought about, gee, they were trying to copy Apple's keyboard, but they didn't do it. So that's kind of a bummer. I was really hoping, that they'd blow away the competition, but no, they didn't. What I do like is that they have this extra row of keys, all separate. These keys used to be primarily found on, the Apple-specific keyboards. And in other cases, in other keyboards, you got to press a separate FM key in order to access some of these other ones. But nope, you don't have to here. You have this whole separate row of keys. And that's really cool to have, especially since it doesn't actually take up any more keyboard space in the competition. Well, what do I mean by that? Let me go ahead and compare with you the Logitech keyboard that I like. So this keyboard's right here. So that's the Logitech keyboard there. This is all plastic, of course. I like the feel of the keys here better, and the keys themselves are a little bit, just a tiny bit bigger than the ones on the Adonit Writer Plus. But as you can see, they're fairly close. I do like the feel of the Logitech keys on this Solar keyboard better than the Writer keys. Okay, and that's not even considering the sharp edges of the keys here. Hopefully you're not one of those typers that type really hard. If you are, you're not going to work out. You're not going to be, you might not be too happy with using the Writer robot. But again, I urge you to go ahead and test it out if you can find one in store to test it out separately. But again, there's the overlay of the keys. So there's the keys over here. Logitech does not have that extra row of keys, but they do have this whole important spot for the battery and the charging, the solar charging module. Again, right there. So again, I give the edge over to Logitech here. That's just my quick impression there. All right. Now let me go ahead and slip this back in to the case itself. It's actually really easily done, or fairly easily done, even with one hand. This just slides right in. Maybe not with one hand, but let's see. Let me just line that up. Can I line it up with one hand? Okay, maybe not. Okay, so now I have it slid in. I like that it's really easy to open and close. Like, it just really opens and it powers on right away. Very, very easy to do. Some people are concerned about how the keys might rub up against the screen, but that's really not too much of a concern. You actually have these rubber nubs right here on the side, rubbery kind of nubs on here and over there and over there and over there. So it more or less keeps the keys off of your screen. That's not to say that it's not going to, the keys aren't going to rub up against your screen, because this does flex a little bit. So if you do put a lot of pressure on it, it will rub up against your screen. I'm not really going to be too worried about that in terms of the iPad, especially if you keep dirt and dust and sand off of it. That's pretty much the only thing that's going to mess up your screen. It's got a hardness rating of 9, so it's kind of hard to scratch the Gorilla Glass. Gorilla Glass, not grass. So I wouldn't be too worried about that unless you don't keep your screen clean. So yeah, so it flips up like that. Real easy to do. I like that it's easier to open and close and be ready to go. It's definitely faster than the Logitech Solar keyboard here, which again, I pointed out how this part could possibly mess with your screen if you're not careful in opening and closing it either. Also, the Adonit feels a little bit more compact than this guy does, than this one, but maybe that's just me. Look at that. It's almost roughly the same or similar size, but the Adonit definitely feels a little bit more compact. Feeling in the hand though, Logitech, I have to give it to Logitech. This has a softer feel material on the outside, kind of rubbery. I like the feel of it, but I think, and I also like the look of the Logitech, this feel and finish better than I do the Adonit case. Of course, like I initially said in my unboxing, this kind of was not really well finished. A little bit disappointed there. See, it's already got, I mean, it looks like it's got this indentation here already, and I didn't even use it yet. I just took it right out of the box, and the box wasn't damaged. There's a little bump here. It looks like the gluing wasn't really done a very good job. Again, to say that it seems like the keyway is just a little bit disappointed in the keyway and the overall quality of the outside of the finish. And of course the keyboard, that one small section there. What I do like is that it opens up and it's ready to go right away, as long as you slide the keyboard past a certain amount onto the magnets in the front. Over here, there's really no wrist rest, but that's more or less very similar to all the other ones. And it's very easy to pop out the iPad. You just stick your finger there and push against it, and the iPad pops right out, so you can take it to go if you don't want to keep it in the case. And that does add some value for me. For instance, sometimes I don't want the whole complete shebang with the keyboard and a case and everything, and I just want to use my smart cover. So that's really cool. Easy in, easy out. I like that a lot. I'm worried about the how the outside's going to wear, since outside already looks like it's got worn a little bit just from out of the box. That part is too bad. Too bad. And also this part here is plastic as well. It should hold up just fine. Just a little bit disappointed they didn't make somewhat better use of this space here with something. I don't know, something. And then one final notice about this case that could bug you, could bug me, is that at the bottom here, there's the on-off switch. It's recessed. I can't reach that. You need a pen to reach that, or some sharp fingernails to reach that in order to permanently turn it on or turn it off. And keep in mind that this does turn off and turn on based on the magnets, the magnetic fields that it gets from the iPad. But sometimes if you're not going to be using the keyboard for an extensive period of time, or you don't keep it closed without the iPad, it will continue to use up power. and seeming that the battery life does last only 2 weeks with regular use. I don't know exactly what regular use means. That is something that you need to consider when you're using a case like that. But overall, those are my first impressions of the keyboard. I'm going to be putting through some testing and doing a lot of typing on it. So please like and subscribe for more details. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Hey, what's happening, guys? Mike Moo here, and I just wanted to give you this quick review on the Adonit Writer Plus. Basically the Writer Plus 2 for the iPad 2 or the Writer for the new iPad. But this one is the new iPad version. Okay, the main difference is, you know, you have the section where you can stick in the iPad3, and then you have some polarity issues with the magnets that are fixed to work just fine with the iPad3. Alright, now this might come kind of really promptly after I did the unboxing and the testing. I told you I was going to do some more extensive testing, but bottom line is I can't find the use of this keyboard acceptable. Alright, right here on top I have my ideal keyboard. Like well, in terms of typing, just regular typing. I'm not talking about special iPad function keys. It's, of course, as a lot of you guys know, this is the Apple wireless Bluetooth keyboard. Standard $69, works out fantastically well. I love typing on it. I think it's a great form and function all in one, nice and decently portable that, you know, you can take it with you. And I do take it with me. So I love the key layout. This works out just fine for just about everything that I care to do on my iPad, with the exception that I would like to be able to use a lot of these function keys with the iPad. Okay, so this is great, right? So I use this with the origami, and of course the origami holds it up, and holds up the in case origami holds it up just fine. But of course it's not a case. So now we have the Adonit Writer. This looks really attractive. It's got this aluminum section here with the black plastic chiclet style keys. Here's where the deal killer is for me, and why I cannot use this past that one day that I unboxed and did some testing and typing on it. The key layout. The key layout is absolutely unusable to me. All right, I've been using laptop keys ever since, God, when I first got my laptop. I don't even remember. It was that long ago. 97. Okay, 1997. So I'm used to smaller keys. I'm used to various PDA keys, and I may do with it. But this one I just simply can't. They did some key issues. There are some key issues with the layout that killed it for me. The main thing, though, is this frickin' shift key. I use the shift key a lot on this side and this side. This is an acceptable size shift key. This little guy is not. So I'm constantly hitting this section right here because it's close enough that I'm hitting sort of the middle of it. So when I hit the top arrow key, let's take a closer look at this shift key here. See, the shift key is the same exact size as the other keys here. And I'm always hitting this. When I hit this, what it does is, effectively in a lot of typing scenarios, let's say I'm just typing in a web browsing address, this moves it up like a home screen button. Those of you guys that are used to typing a word processor, it functions just like home. Totally messes me up. Completely messes me up. I've never had so many typos and errors typing on other keyboards as I do with this. It'd be fine if, you know, I typed everything lowercase, but that's just not the way things are. And yeah, I suppose I can change my habits and try to make use of this, but really I don't want to. It's just not worth it to me. When all the other keyboards that I have a perfectly sized, you know, perfectly regularly sized, double-sized shift. I mean, if you at least made it as big as this caps lock, I would have been fine. I would have been, you know, would have been happy. That's fine. I don't even use the tab as much as the shift key, and that is, you know, we could have, and that's actually bigger than the shift key. It's slightly wider than the shift key. I mean, even if you just made it just that much wider, I would have been fine with it. But really, it just messes me up. So
When I was first getting this, I noticed that there were a lot of returns on these, and I couldn't exactly understand why, because on paper and on reviews you see, everybody seems like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is one of the best keyboards out there, blah, 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 it's so versatile. And yeah, it does have some nice features on it. This is one of my, if you like to use the keyboard a lot with your iPad and primarily do, like I mentioned, I don't necessarily need to use that primarily, because, you know, I use my fingers, and if I'm typing in short little URLs, it's not too bad on a screen. But if you're using primarily a keyboard and you're using it on your lap a lot and you're using it on the couch, this adjustability is really, really nice. Like, this is great. This is well designed. I do wish that there were certain parts where it would kind of click or lock in place and not go past a certain point, because look what happens when you go past a certain point. The whole thing flips down. Same thing going the other direction too. It just flips out of place once you get past a certain point, because that's where the magnetic holding of it stops, and then it's just kind of awkward to have to reposition it again. But if you like using your iPad with a keyboard on your lap a lot, this actually works out, you know, just fine, as long as you can get past certain locations of certain keys that you may or may not use a lot. And to add insult to injury, because I'm getting all these mistakes, right? Because I'm hitting this key and this key at the same time, which effectively cancels out the shift, because, you know, it just totally messes me up. The delete key is also small, so I have to go back to that section and then, you know, possibly hit something else. And yeah, so that makes typing in the dark, and that is part of my testing, is trying to type in the dark without looking at any of the keys. And yeah, again, the typos, it just really a deal killer for me. I've talked about the other features of it as well, and you can check out my first impression video where I did the bit of the unboxing. Again, I was really happy with the fit and finish of this. Look at this. This is pretty much how it came out of the box. I don't appreciate these bumps right here. I'm sure they're probably magnets and stuff, but they could have done a better job with it, or the slight indentation here. See that all came out across. It's not super noticeable, but look, see, even there's a little bump here too, and I had absolutely nothing to do with that. This is exactly how it came out from the box, and it was untouched. I made sure I got a perfectly sealed one, not even returned unit, and that is yeah, that's pretty sad for an item that's $109. And personally, if it were up to me and I was part of the project design team, this would have never made it out the door. I mean, the keys are killer. You're making a keyboard. God, you got to get the keys right. You do. You really do. And you know, I love a lot of the products that Adonit has. You know, and you know, Taiwanese company, and I'm Taiwanese, and I think they're a Taiwanese company. That's where I met them first initially, and they did a lot of things fairly right. One of the complaints you have is the on-off button. That'll probably bug you, as you'll need a pen for that. And again, I also mentioned the issue with the sharp edges here in between the keys. I mean, you just stick your fingers down there, and then if you happen to slide a little bit, I think over time your fingernails would actually get marks and scratches all over them. That might matter more for you ladies than than the guys who get manicures or metrosexuals, whatever. So that more or less kills it for me. So that's it. I can't recommend this to people who type a lot. You know, it just doesn't work for me. I'll say another good thing about this, though, besides the sliding keyboard function here, this is great, is that it's really easy to pop your iPad in and out. Because you'll have to. You can't use this in portrait mode. There's no real good way, you know, it's really awkward to use in portrait mode, so that's bad, but the redeeming feature is really easy to pop your iPad in and out. I just stick my finger there, push it in, and out it comes, and I'm ready, you know, then I'm ready to go to use my iPad any other way that I want. Okay guys, that is my review, and now you know exactly why I can't use this, and I can't recommend it for typists and, you know, pure typists and purists who are used to a regular size keyboard. Yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. I know that a video like this would have been helpful to me, rather than everybody saying how great it is, or, you know, not really going deep into details that actually matter to people. You know, there's a lot of sites out there. They all give it an awesome rating, and then now I know why people are returning these. There's just returns all over the place. Okay, well, returns in retail stores, mind you. Of course, I don't know how the returns are on online, but you know, if you're still interested, you can make use of. It's okay with you in terms of the keyboard function there, and you're okay with $108 price or $107 price through my link below. This without those other issues, I would say that it is one of the better solutions out there if you can get past those specific issues that I mentioned, but I cannot. So please like this video. I know it was helpful to some of you, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.